Hey, it's Christopher, and welcome back to Watching, Winning, and Wrecking, NASCAR podcast that covers the events of the week, upcoming events at Dover this weekend, and also a little bit of news coverage and good opening there. Traveling Mulberries, the end of the line. I guess they would be considered if they were NASCAR, a super team, much to the same vein as Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs Racing. So good opening, since everyone had the nostalgia feelings. Darlington was cool throwback paint schemes, and interesting choice that it's in May instead of later on this year at the Southern 500. That was kind of one of the staples of the Southern 500, and here we go. Let's get started. Martin Truex Jr. So 3 wins on 2020 and 2021. Leads 248 laps. Wins both stages. No stopping this man. It looks like the old days when the Furniture Row 78 car was tearing up the track, and everything is just lining up for Truex Jr. here. He's clearly the best driver at JGR. He wouldn't have said that a couple years ago. It seemed like it was just maybe wasn't going to be in the cards for him. He's back better than ever. Sort of in the same vein as Eric Bischoff, right? He's back and better than ever, huh? And he's making things better. To this point, no stage winner has ever won at Darlington. That was pointed out numerous times by Jeff Gordon, Mike Joy, and everyone's favorite driver, Clint Boyer, former teammate Truex back at MWR. Second in the points still. But this is his second Darlington win. The first one was in the fall of 2016. And 28 all-time on the wins list. 30 career wins. So next up, 32 wins, 2 champions. Kurt Busch, Dale Jarrett, one Hall of Famer, one future Hall of Famer. And you could say he's a future Hall of Famer himself, Martin Truex Jr. The numbers don't lie. He is cream of the crop, best driver at JGR, maybe the best driver in NASCAR at this time. There's no stopping this man, is there? And he's the only multiple winner in the old format, the 2017 champion is finding his old form and runner-up in the points of 2018, 2019. And JGR, 190 Cup win. Very close to reaching that 200 mark. Did they do it this year? Lots of time left. But the only multiple winner this year, I misspoke there a moment ago. And then in this format, well, he's the only multiple winner in this format this year. So let's just clear that up. So this is what Truex had to say as he brought the auto insurance, owner's auto insurance car into the winner's circle. We just had a good balance. The car would do what I want it to do. I just had to manage those long runs. It was really loose, that last run. I was nervous when the 5 was catching us. We got mirrored in some traffic there, and that's always tough. And what an awesome team we have. Hopefully we can keep this rolling. There's a good chance they will. They're at Dover, right? And I think the most important part is we are winning with the low downforce package, which most of the playoff races we run are. Phoenix was really, really big. Confidence boost for us. And to go there and win. I feel like we've carried it since there, the momentum, speaking of pronouns. We just have to keep this thing going. Guys are doing a really good job all around. It's so fun to drive race cars like that, end quote. And yeah, this is the old Martin Truex Jr. This is the guy that made Furniture Row, which was a team that had been through numerous drivers. Hadn't seen a lot of success in the Cup Series. They had one win to that point. Regan Smith pulled an upset here at Darlington in the Southern 500 10 years ago. That was very unexpected. He outdueled Carl Edwards on that Saturday evening showcase, but he made Furniture what it was. I think MWR, his tenure there, they were the same thing, making that a solid team till the whole Spingate scandal took that team and made them ride off into the sunset. But how good is Truex Jr. and how good is he going to get? He's finding his stride with James Small, much like he had with the old crew chief Cole Perrin. They had a connection, and they were just really gelling together. And I think you're seeing that with James Small here. This is his fourth crew win as a crew chief, and he's just finding his groove with Truex Jr. This could be the most lethal combination going into the summer months. And you got good tracks coming up for him. You have Dover, kind of record times the Cup Series has visited there. Had a dominating performance at Charlotte a few years back in the 600. Could be a favorite, too, in Austin, Texas, at the Circuits of America. That's kind of a wild card. No one knows really what will transpire there, as a lot of drivers have never seen that surface before. So he's going forward, and we'll see how good he can be at this time. And I think it's going to be really good for him. I just see good things for him. Obviously becoming a championship favorite, but like I said, the complexion of everything can change so drastically in a matter of a couple races. But this is as good as he'll ever see Martin Truex Jr. And we talked about the string of good races coming. Dover, 3 wins. His first career win came there in 2007. The final win, if you're into trivia, a lot of trivia people out there, or trivia fans, last guy to win in DEI equipment. And that was he's won in the spring of 2019, fall of 2016. Last 4 races, a win and 3 runner-up finishes. So if you're playing fantasy, or you play in Ontario, the Pro Line pools, this is the guy you want to pick. I think he's matched up with William Byron in the Pro Line pools this week, and William Byron's having a sensational run himself, one of the best drivers of the season. But I'm going with old Martin Truex here. Charlotte, he's got 3 wins. We talked about the dominance of the Coca-Cola 600 in 2016, led 392 laps. Won there in the fall of 2017, and the Coke 600 in 2019. So this guy knows how to get it done there. And Sonoma, as we mentioned, 3 wins. 2016, 2018 is going for 3 consecutive wins on the road course in wine country in California. So as we like to do on this podcast, is I want to know who's been listening to the Watching and Running and Wrecking Pod, that we're going to visit our friends at the NASCAR Report and see what the folks have to say about Martin Truex Jr. winning at the famed Darlington surface. So let's go here. NASCAR Report. Gonna dial it up. Here we go. And here we are. God, this is a late podcast. Busy week for me. So let's go. NASCAR Report will say himself. I'll take watching the drivers work the cars all race and something decent as a finish over a full throttle 550 package Atlanta with no battles on the track whatsoever. Just my opinion, though. This was sort of a dry race, I thought, too. Very similar to Atlanta, as the NASCAR Report points out. And Kyle Larson had a shot there, but the lap traffic caught him. So Matthew_Allen says, I agree. People will say this was boring, but it was actually really fun to watch. There was intense battles all day, and just because the race didn't come down to a side-by-side finish, it doesn't mean the race was bad. I enjoyed this 750 HP package so much more than the 550, and you could really tell the difference. I hope next gen does not go with the 550. And Henry 24257, back to Matthew Allen. I thought 550 was only used on short tracks. And then we have Hayden 73H. No, it's the exact opposite. The .550 on the 1.5 miles and larger, and the 750 on the short tracks and the road courses. So we have DYL, PYKL diecast as to NASCAR report. Atlanta was the one that had the pass for the win, with a few laps left, though. If we are comparing two snooze fest, the one with the good finish takes the cake for sure. I think the real problem is that people think low grip race tracks provide categorically good racing, when in reality, they kind of suck. TBH, 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 to be honest. Just say to be honest, motherfucker. We've had this battle. I think I torture myself by reading these because I just get so upset with the poor grammar and the poor, dialogue. You have to use acronyms for everything. And Henry, 24257. If something ain't broke, don't fix it. So, I don't know. NASCAR changed the rules package. 24 Byron Fenton, NASCAR report. Sadly, many disagree with you. I thought the package was great for this race because it showed the talent rather than holding it wide open almost the whole lap. NASCAR fan _99 to Matthew Allen. I hope they use the 2014 actually. Good racing. And they had to battle the cars today was okay. 5.5 out of 10. Some battles here and there. But anytime the leader pulls away and laps half the field, it takes away from some of the excitement. Stage 1 was great. Stage 2 was okay. Stage 3 wasn't good until the end, and Len Larson lost time, and we didn't have a good finish. Make Stage 3 better. And the Exalta Racer 24, roger that, to NASCAR report. And then Brandon Ricardo, Larson is coming. If not this year, next year. Goes to show how much he carried the 42 car. Let's stop for a second. I am going to agree with Mr. Brandon Ricardo 100% because I was just talking about that prior to recording this with Amanda, that how good can Kyle Larson be? And I think, everyone talks about the racial slurred eye racing and, that had to be he had to go get punished for that. I think it was correct. You can't, in the blanket society, bubble wrap society we live in, cancel culture is big. We all know. We don't have to talk about this ad nauseum. We all know. We read. We see things on social media. We see things in the news. Being First Nation person myself, there's a lot of that with the logos and the nicknames of sports teams. And you're taking away the Washington Redskins that had a rich history in the NFL to call them the Washington football team. And love that college field logo they got going on, and Ron Rivera's there, Riverboat Ron, so I can't complain. But I don't know, just indulge me for a moment here. I think Larson used that to get out of the 42 car because he was carrying that organization. Chip Ganassi Racing has not been the same since his departure. Even the great Matt Kenseth, who stepped into this equipment, Hall of Fame credentials, a champion, struggled badly in that car. Best he could muster up was a second place finish at the Brickyard. And I heard he almost wins the Brickyard, one of the crown jewel racing events missing from his impressive resume. I don't think he won at Darlington either, but still, nonetheless, he would have given 3 out of 4, right? Helps his cause even more to make the Hall of Fame. But here's Larson at Hendrick, and he's tearing it up. Had some bad luck, He should have 2 to 3. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Should have 3 wins. In my opinion, he should have won Martinsville. He should have won Atlanta. He's got the win at Vegas. Should have won here. So this is a guy who really should be atop the standings with 3 to 4 wins. So he's only going to get better, and this is year 1 of this. So did Larson sort of maybe make that off-color comment? Get out of Ganassi so he can get hired by Hendrick, because he's been linked to Hendrick for a number of years now. And how cool would it be to see Larson in Hendrick equipment? Well, if you wish and you pray hard enough and you remain optimistic, keep the faith, look what happens. Lo and behold, he's in the 5 car, and the 5 car So Jonathan Cook says, couldn't agree more to Brandon Ricardo. And then NASCAR fan 542 says, does not pass inspection. Whatever the fuck. What are you talking about? And then Maylee Marcus is the NASCAR fan. Yes, hopefully. So here people are rooting for Truex not to pass inspection. Come on. Go fuck yourself. 6.6, the NASCAR fan 542. Absolutely not. Toyota cars, always illegal. And then we have here, all hail the D. So let's all hail the D, folks. I'm going to say, and he has to put everything in caps. I'm going to say it. Boring race. Give NASCAR report a little break for a few moments here. And get back to the rundown of the race. So was it boring race? I guess so. I'm going to say it wasn't the best race at Darlington. I think those throwback paintscapes should get under the light treatment, but that's just me. I enjoy it. And the cars, good Saturday night racing under the lights. Can never go wrong with that. But Kyle Larson, as we said, second place finish here. Had a chance to catch Truex Jr. in the closing laps. Did he need a few more laps? No. I don't think he was going to catch him as you seen the car fade. But lap traffic really, I think, got in the way here. And this is an issue that's going to be around as the day is long for NASCAR. Is lap traffic should be obliged to get out of the way. It's a courtesy thing. If you're going to be on the track... And I know there's battles sometimes, and I know you can make the argument that there's battles for positioning. Maybe two drivers are battling for 17, 18, and it's all about the points in the end. It's about, and especially if you're one of those drivers on the cut line where you're hovering around that playoff position at 16th and you could make it in, you shouldn't have to surrender to the leaders. Make them earn the pass. By all means, they got a faster car than you. That's why they're racing for the win and you're racing for 18th, some 3 to 4 laps down. But I would suggest pulling out of the way because you have to be respectful of your competitors out there, and you never know when you might be in that position where you have to return the favor. Just something to think about. But second was Larson's best finish since Martinsville, where he finished 5th there. Good momentum for this 5 team going into summer months. 6th in points. I think this Larson is going to have a good summer. Is he a championship contender at this point? I don't think so. I think the inconsistency that the Hendrick drivers other than William Byron have been faced with this year is what's going to ultimately be the deciding factor if one of these drivers becomes a champion. And that could even be said for the current champion, Chase Elliott. But Kyle Larson's only going to get better in the 5 car. This is year 1 of many years to come of success for him with Hendrick. Still a young dude. It's going to be the face of this team for years to come. Him and William Byron, I think, are doing tremendous this season. And that's been the real high spot for Hendrick Motorsports in 2021. Kyle Busch, 3rd place finish. Fresh off the win at Kansas, led 9 laps at Darlington. Didn't really look like he's going to do much here. Not a favorite to win this thing by any means. 4th top 5 finish of 2021. And William Byron, this is the man of the hour. This is every week we talk about these races. That this streak is kind of taking on a life of its own here. And is it in jeopardy news? That's 10. The consecutive streak of top 10s now has reached 10. Ties Jeff Gordon from that streak back in 2007, and he was also in the 24th driver, coming into his own, really becoming a player in this sport. I know he was seen as coming in as a talent that had a lot of success in the Xfinity Series, had a lot of success in the Cup Series. In the Truck Series prior to this, and the Cup Series ran for him. Didn't start off so great. He was in the top 10 sporadically. Occasional top 5, and now he gets the win last year at Daytona on the plate races. You'd say, well, does that really give you a barometer of how good this guy's going to be? And then he goes up. This is someone to watch in the next few months, I think, how he's going to carry himself, and if he finds himself in position to be a winner. and make it in that Final Four. Much in the same vein, Chase Elliott. I think he's the new Chase Elliott in that form when we're saying, how good is he? When does he get into the top four and actually have a shot at winning the title? I don't know if it's this year. It could be next year, but he's inching so close to that. Excuse me, I just got to take a drink here. Oh, that's good. Denny Hamlin, 5th place finish. First in points still, back at the top. Back in the top 5 since Richmond. Leads 5 laps here, but again, not a factor to win. JGR has won 2 consecutive weeks. Team could consider using Martin Truex Jr. setup. I think a lot of times when we've seen it in previous years when a team is out to the run that Martin Truex Jr. is on right now, that the team has, they have team meetings every week and they discuss maybe why another driver is out performing another on the track, and all 3 cars have won except for him. He's the last of the bunch to win. So what's the 11 team doing wrong that's working so well for the 19 car? And I think maybe using a setup that Truex is using, even at Dover, maybe at the road course, this is something that could be in Hamlin's advantage and could be advantageous for this team to finally get themselves in the winner's circle. But I think in point-wise, he looks like he's already a lock for the title. I know there's 10 drivers already locked in. Could say him as the 11th. I don't think there's much to worry about here for Hamlin, but the last time JGR won 3 consecutive races was in the spring of 2019 at Texas with Hamlin, Bristol, Busch, and Richmond, Truex Jr. JGR is going for 3 at a place like Dover. I think the odds are pretty good. And Kevin Harvick, 6th place finish here. The closer is, some people know him as, 4th top 10 finish in the last 5 races. I feel as if he's getting close to winning. He's coming off consecutive top 5 finishes prior to the Darlington event. Good season, but not a Harvick-esque season. It doesn't feel still like this team, the 4 car, is running up to their potential. I know there's a lot of issues at Stewart-Haas Racing as a whole in-house, and I think this team is, chasing the tiger by the tail here, and for whatever reason, Harvick still is the glue that holds this all together for Stewart-Haas Racing. A lot is invested in the 4 team, but is it time to panic? Is it, through 12 races, look at 2014, the year he became the champion. At 2 wins, 4 top 5s, 6 top 10s. Again, increases his top 5 by 4 to 8. And also increasing his top 10s to 11. And then you have 2016. Numbers are down a little. 1 win, 5 top 5s, 9 top 10s. 17 looks a little like this season. And that 17 wasn't a good year for him. 0 wins, 4 top 5s, 7 top 10s, and then the next year he explodes. 15. Top 5 wise, he's only 2 behind from last year, 1 behind from 2019. 8 in 2015. That's pretty impressive. And no wins. It's 3 times in his tenure here that he's had no wins through 12 races. So I don't think there's a lot to be alarmed about. I think Harvick's going to get hot. String of good races coming up for him. He's won Charlotte, the Coke 600 a couple times in his career. He's a good road racer, so you should see him in contention at the Circuits of Americas and Sonoma. But no need to panic for Harvick. I think he's going to be a playoff driver in the end and have a shot at becoming a champion. Chase Elliott, 7th place finish here, 2nd consecutive top 10 finish. Still winless, quite inconsistent this year. 2020 hasn't gone maybe the way he had planned following a championship run. Likely into playoffs, but could be in the same vein as the Lakers, and you know how much I love the Lakers. Here they are winning the championship a year ago, dominant fashion over the Miami Heat. Just absolutely thumped them in the final game, the deciding game for the NBA championship. And now they're in the playoff. They're in the play-in position. They're gonna have to play in. They're gonna have to face the Golden State Warriors, who are a formidable opponent. And you know about the dynasty a few years ago, broken by the Toronto Raptors. But this is still a lot of pieces are the same with Golden State. You have Draymond, Steph Curry, good bench players, and Andrew Wiggins. And it's still a good roster. Steve Kerr still the coach. Could Chase Elliott be like the Lakers? Maybe if the Lakers don't win this game, they go from being the champion to not even making it at all. And that's what Chase Elliott's in that same, how competitive things are this year in NASCAR Cup Series. Chase Elliott's in that same vein where he just might miss the playoffs altogether. And that would be the first in this new format where a champion does not even make the playoffs a year later. It's quite a possibility for Chase. I know there's still a lot of time from here to September, but Chase doesn't look like a championship driver in 2020. I'm sorry for all the Chase Elliott fans out there, but he does have a good slate of tracks coming up for him. He won Dover in the fall of 2018. He won Charlotte last year. Wasn't the 600, but the race before the 600. And Austin, Texas, and Sonoma are coming, and 5 of his 11 career wins are on road courses. So for Amanda, don't panic. I know you're got a soft spot for Chase Elliott. Kind of dig the guy. I don't know why, but maybe he'll win one for you and make you proud. Who knows? So Ryan Blaney, 8th place finish here. 3rd in the points. Excuse me, 5th in the points. My 3 looked like a 5 there. I got to get better penmanship. University graduate, college graduate. Here I am, still struggling with my handwriting, my chicken scratches. But yeah, that's another topic. That's another podcast in itself, maybe. But the best of the Penske cars at some points in the season. I know Penske is struggling the last couple weeks. Haven't looked really Penske-esque. And Ryan Blaney is another driver, much in the same vein as Elliott. I think bright future ahead. But you got to get those wins. And Ryan Blaney has a win this year at Atlanta, but got to get those wins, man. Chase, next up we have Chris Buescher, 9th place finish. 2nd consecutive top 10 finish. He's 13th in the points. Good finish for Roush Fenway Racing. Team's starting to show signs of life here, and it's all on the shoulders of Chris Buescher. He's going to be a 2021 bubble driver, I think, throughout, if he makes the playoffs with this tough competition in the field this year. It says a lot about his ability as a driver. Because Roush Fenway Racing is not their shell of their former selves. They're not what they once were. This isn't the Mark Martin, Jeff Burton, Roush Fenway Racing. This isn't even the Carl Edwards, Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle version of Roush Fenway. So for him to carry this load on his back, do a phenomenal job with this car week in, week out. You see him had a really good run at Homestead, was leading some laps. He has 3 top 10s in 2021. So for Buescher to make this kind of stand with the competition being what it is, says a lot about his ability. He's been to the playoffs before with Front Row. If he can make it, I think Buescher's someone that other organizations may target. He's a former Xfinity Series champion. This is someone you want to look at. But this is someone that maybe Roush Fenway Racing is going to have to press hard to resign next year. This is where you can build on these good finishes, and having a driver of this caliber in your organization, it does a lot for you. And Ryan Newman, top 10 here, getting tripped up here. 10th place finish, 3rd top 10 of 2021. Easy for me to say. Got it out. Thank you. Has looked pretty good in recent weeks. Just no finishes to show for it. Brings the car top 10 here. It's a driver that I don't think he's going to be a playoff driver. I think if he can get things in the right direction, trending in the right direction, if 2 of the Roush Fenway cars get in, that says a lot about the organization and how far they've come since 2017. That's when really Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had his breakout year, and this team has just been trying to find himself since then. Had to go through a couple driver changes. Trevor Bayne, they brought in Matt Kenseth for some relief a couple years ago. This is an organization that's floundering in recent years. To put 2 cars in, even to put 1 car in, they put Buescher in, it says a lot about the direction they're trending. And hope for good things for Newman. He's a good guy. Recently celebrated 700 career starts. It's going to be one of those on the bubble as far as the Hall of Fame credentials go. Doesn't have the championship, but has won Daytona, has won the Brickyard. Next up, we have Chase Briscoe. He ties his career best finish at 11. Looked like he was going to get in the squeak in the top 10 there, and then the final running order came through, and Newman had caught him there in the last lap. Was 11th at Talladega, so this is top 20 in the last 3 weeks for Briscoe. He's making small gains. Needs a win to make the playoffs at this point. Tough rookie year, but I think this season for Briscoe, it's all about seat time. Finding your comfort zone in the Cup car. We all know what he can do in the Xfinity Series. Big year last year. And I think this is a driver that is just really making strong gains for next year. 1 year under his belt once this season's over. A lot more optimism coming into next year. But Stewart-Haas Racing has made that sacrifice in the 14 car to put in a rookie driver, and a driver that I think has a lot to learn yet, but is likely going to be the rookie of the year, as Anthony Alfredo, his counterpart here, just a tick behind Briscoe, and has only outperformed him once this season. Tyler Reddick, 12th place finish. Top 10 streak ends at 2, but improving rapidly. He's now 16th in the points. He's on the cut line. String of strong performances put him in this position. Can he make the playoffs with RCR? I know the RCR cars have been pretty good this year. Another team, much like Roush Fender Racing, shell of their former selves. This is a team that won 4 titles with Dale Earnhardt Sr., had a good string with Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton, Clint Boyer. Put together some really good years with those drivers, and now you have Reddick and Austin Dillon carrying the load. And I like Reddick. I think his Marty Robbins paint scheme with the magenta and the yellow was the highlight of the weekend. Was how cool that paint scheme was. But he was running consistently in the top 10 throughout the race. So the car has speed. It seems to fade late in the race. I think Clint pointed that out, that the team looks really good for maybe the first half of the race, and just for whatever reason has slid off just a bit toward the end of the race. But still a pretty productive season for Tyler Reddick, and I think his best days are just ahead for him. And the Penske team, they've been going through a lot of woes lately. Joey Logano, 13th place finish here, not a factor at all here, and 1 lap off the pace. Only 1 top 5 finish since winning Bristol. 4th in the standings. And Logano, he's going to a place he likes a lot in Xfinity cars. Dover. He has 4 Xfinity wins there. No Cup wins. In 24 Cup starts, his best finish is 3rd. That's 3 times the fall of 2010, fall of 2013, fall of 2018. So you kind of get the picture here. He's not really good here in the spring. But for a guy who had a lot of success in the Xfinity car, you just kind of still waiting for him to turn that into success on the Cup side. And maybe this could be Joey Logano's weekend. But a tough couple of weeks, was battling some food poisoning at Kansas. So had that wild ride, that video game-esque wreck at Talladega. But Joey Logano, again, is won his race. He's in the playoffs. He's going to be a championship contender when all the dust settles. But just a tough couple of weeks for the Penske drivers. And Brad Keselowski, 3 laps off the pace, led 4 laps early stages of the race. 24th place finish, and his streak of top 5 finishes is dashed at 2. Keselowski has looked pitiful this weekend, and this is a track where he got the momentum going in 2018 for his playoff appearance, and just looked. 2-car didn't get a lot of airtime, and that's a bit bizarre, but that's the tale of Brad Keselowski's season. He's either really, really good or he's really, really awful. And this week, he was really, really awful. Ross Chastain, 15th place finish. 7 top 20 finish in the last 8 races. 22nd in the points. It's improving week by week, and the Ganassi team is really struggling. I think this is a team that is on the back end, almost like Roush Fenway RCR. They're going to have to find a way to find relevance again. And I think Ross Chastain is going to be one of those drivers that will help the team find their place again. But he's rubbed a lot of drivers the wrong way this year. He's got into some issues with Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, two of the champions. You don't want to piss them off. I think he had a run in also with Kevin Harvick, another champion. But Chastain's learning. So to keep this team in the cut line position, I know it's going to be a stretch for this team to make the playoffs, but gotta give credit where credit's due. They're making their way, and they're finding a little consistency. Now it's just to get that to the next level where you're converting those top 20s into top 10s. Kurt Busch struggles continue. Crash here relegates him to a 38th place finish. No top 10 finishes since his 8th at Homestead. 20th in the points. It looks like more and more each week that this could be the career for Kurt Busch. It doesn't seem like this is the same driver that was able to kind of race so-so equipment and put it up front. Now it just looks like maybe this is the curtain call for him, the swan song, whatever you want to call it. Hasn't made any announcements yet, but Kurt Busch is found himself now in a situation where he has to win to make the playoffs. And the streak of 7 years with at least one win is in jeopardy dearly here. I don't know what's going to happen to Kurt Busch really past this season. Does he make another return in this car? Did I give it one more go? Colleague Racing's got a team coming up. Did they hire him for a Swan Song retirement tour? Giving that team some stability. Maybe he gives way to Kaz Grela the next year, or Jeb Burton. I know Justin Haley will be it's in the colleague plans to some extent. I don't know if it's going to be a 2-car team yet or 1-car team, but I don't know if Kurt Busch will return to this car next year. And week after week, it's starting to look very slim that he will be back with Chip Ganassi Racing in 2022. The disappointment of the race for me, it's got to be Eric Almirola. Crashes on lap 5. Got into it with, I think, Ricky Stenhouse. Great paint scheme, the Winn-Dixie paint scheme. A tribute to Mark Martin. Guy he worked with at DEI, was sort of a mentor to Eric Almirola when he was starting his Cup career. 37th place finish here, 28th in the points. Will need a win to make the playoffs. It's a contract year, just marred by bad luck, and looked like this team was sort of turning things around. 6th place at Richmond, a 15th at Talladega, and Smithfield's backed him for 10 plus years now. It's a sponsorship that's carried over from Richard Petty Motorsports. Could be a tough decision for Stewart-Haas Racing next year. Do they bring him back? He's in a contract year. Haven't heard anything yet about him not being in this car, but this is one of his worst seasons of his career. I think if you look back to his days in with DEI, this is not good. For whatever reason, the 10 cars had a lot of bad luck, but if they can't right the ship, it looks like this could maybe be his final runs in the 10 car. But the Smithfield sponsorship, that's what's interesting. Could he take that to JR Motorsports or Colleague or a team that really would have to heavily rely on this to keep going? But I think he will keep going somewhere, but I just don't know if it's going to be with Stewart-Haas Racing. I could see a big shakeup in that organization, but Eric Almirola has just had some atrocious luck this year, and no fault of his own, but nonetheless, it's the finishes that dictate whether you come back next year, whether you have a ride in the Cup Series. It's not so much about, well, you can blame this all on poor luck. No, it doesn't work that way. So the Xfinity Series ran on Saturday afternoon. Justin Allgaier leads 10 laps, wins Darlington, gets by Josh Berry in nice lap 2 shootout in overtime. Allgaier, this is his second win of 2021, 7th in the points, 4th top 5 in the last 5 races, 16th career win, now 18th on the all-time Xfinity wins list, surpassing Christopher Bell, champions Jeff Green and Joe Nemechek, and has accomplished so much in this Xfinity Series. He's only missing that title to his credit. Could this be the year Allgaier gets back to the Final Four and is victorious at Phoenix and holding that trophy at the end? We'll wait and see. But ran the Dale Senior scheme, that the Tasmanian Devil scheme that he ran at Daytona years ago. Had the Good Humor ice cream paint scheme, with the ice cream man on the car. It was a good-looking car, nice nostalgic car. And this is what Allgaier had to say. Our car wasn't as good as we wanted all day, but the guys down in the pits, they just kept fighting. To check off Atlanta and Darlington, I couldn't be more appreciative of this race team. We're going to celebrate this one for a while. So Justin Allgaier is the best driver at Junior Motorsports. We all established this. He's a veteran. He's working his way up the wins total in Xfinity Series. A quintessential good Xfinity driver. But I feel like either his career could go two routes here at this point. Stay in this car, roll off wins, maybe have a chance at multiple titles, or is he in the running for Junior Motorsports? If they make that jump to Cup, he's got to be on their radar. He's got to be top of the list to take that. And he'll have the Hendrick resources. I know his first foray into the Cup Series maybe left a bad taste in his mouth. What was left over from the Steve Turner team, Harry Scott Racing, using the 51 car, the James Finch car equipment, didn't work out. It was frustrating to see this really talented driver running in the low 20s, high 20s most of the time. If he was lucky that, if this team would get a top 15 finish, it was a win for them. But we'll see what he can do. But winning races for him, I think, is what ultimately is going to keep him in this car and dictate if he would like to try one more time at the Cup Series. So we'll go to the NASCAR report and see what they have to say about Mr. Justin Allgaier winning at Darlington. So the NASCAR report says Jeremy Clements, P5, Alex LeBay, P9, Landon Castle, P11, Tommy Joe Martins, P14, Ryan Ellis, P15. How about that? And he's got the flex bicep emoji. So good day for some of the underdog teams. Austin Tombers, the NASCAR report, fought hard today. Heck of a drive for Tommy Joe Martins. And NASCAR fan 9_2, Noah Gragosn got DQ'd. No, well, he did, and then got the check back. Boo. I really wanted Allmendinger to keep that check, but that means Moffat got a P7, and the C'est bon, I guess you'd call that, or the whatever. I'm not French, but it's my best attempt at that emoji. Going, Gianni. I feel like the inspections are disqualifying the wrong drivers. And then we have here Parker F78. Who was Landon driving for? JD? Yes, he was driving for JD Motorsports. And then Tyler Wong, 65. The NASCAR report. What a tough break for Noah. I don't know. There's a lot of Noah Gragson supporters out there. I don't know what you see in that guy, but anyway, so not much written on Allgaier's win. That's pretty much the highlight, but there's some of those Bitcoin robot accounts saying, sign up here and you can be a wealthy individual in a matter of weeks. Bullshit. Josh Berry, second place finish, the second top 10 of 2021, running the paint scheme that Dale Jr. ran in July of 2021. The first trip back to Daytona following the tragic death of Dale Earnhardt Sr. Led 8 laps here. Second top 5 in the last 3 races. Josh Berry, it's awful that this guy is going to have to relinquish the seat to Sam Meyer here in a few weeks, because he has really become a solid driver week in, week out in the Xfinity Series. I think if they can get sponsorship here, you got to maybe consider putting Josh Berry in a car full time here. And here's what Berry had to say. That he says, "I'm mad. I want to win. I'm racing for my life out here. Man, we need to find a sponsor or something so I can run this thing full time." But it's hard to be mad coming here, running second, no practice, first time with these guys. That's pretty incredible. And it is pretty incredible, Josh Berry. I think he's done an excellent job in this car. Find a way to get this massive sponsorship, or maybe if Justin Allgaier moves up to the Cup Series, this is a guy you want in your car. There's a bounce Noah Gragson for him. I mean, he's outperformed him most of the time. Josh Berry is the real deal, and looks like he made his ascension through the ranks the right way. He started for years with JR Motorsports on limited capacity. Got that seat time, but a late model legend that he is. Give him an opportunity, JR Motorsports. Come on. Brendan Jones, highest of the JGR finishers here. 3rd place, second top 5 in the last 3 races for Brandon. Good for him. And Daniel Hemrick, 4th place finish, led 38 laps. Second, 2 top 5s in the last 3 races. Just still in search of that first win. That winless streak is now up to 96 starts. Come on, Daniel. Daniel Hemrick, win one for me. Win one at Dover in a half hour, please. That race starts here in a half hour. Win one for me, please, Daniel Hemrick. I want to report so badly that you are finally a winner in the Xfinity Series. Jeremy Clements, as we mentioned in the NASCAR report, top 5 here, but now it'll be a 6th place finish, so that 4th will become a 5th for Hemrick, and that 3rd becomes a... No, that'll be 4th. So 2nd, 3rd. So yeah, Jones is fine. He's at 3rd. So Hemrick would be relegated to 5th. Clements would be to 6th. His best, not his best yet. His best finish still of 2021. 9th in the points. Popular Underdog. His first would have been his first top 5 had it held up since Pocono last June, and was running a really nifty Dale Jarrett UPS paint scheme that he ran with. Robert Yates Racing for so many years, and carried that to MWR. And we want to race the truck. Remember those silly commercials? Michael Annett, 7th place finish here by virtue of Gragosn overturning the DQ. And it would have been his 3rd top 10 in the last 4 races. 12th in the standings. Will need a string of good runs to make the playoffs. He's going to be one of those cut line drivers. But the best finish of his season remains still 6th at Las Vegas. Brett Moffitt, 8th place finish. Now running for the Xfinity points, declared a few weeks back. We'll need to win to make it, as he finds himself really deep in the points here. 4th top 10 of 2021. Good start for our Motorsports. A young team that started last year has had some good drivers this year and has done really well. But Brett Moffitt needs a win. I think that's why they declared for the points. So he has a lot of confidence in the team that they will win, because he could have just stayed in the Truck Series and declared points there, but wasn't having a lot of success with Nice this year. For some reason, they've been the Achilles heel at Nice, but here he is with our Motorsports, and he's got some time, but not a lot of time to win. Ryan Sieg, 9th place finish. This is the 2nd consecutive, fresh off 2 consecutive top 5 finishes for him. And the career best is a 5th at Talladega. Ever since Shane Wilson came back off the pit box for them, the impact is felt immediately, and Ryan Sieg is working his way hard for another playoff spot. And Harrison Burton originally was credited with a 10th place finish, now at 11th. That would have been his 4th consecutive top 10. Remains 3rd in the standings, led 12 laps here. Pitted on the final caution, got some tires, it proved to be costly in the last lap shootout. I think the theory was to get the tires, blow through the field, but didn't get a good restart. But Harrison Burton, I think it's going to be a winner sooner than later here. And Landon Castle would have been an 11th place finish, but that would have been his best since Bristol last August. And August of 2019, so almost 2 years ago for Landon Castle, but now will be set back to a 12th place run by virtue of that. And A.J. Allmendinger originally would have won, didn't win the Dash for Cash, then he was declared the winner from Noah Gragson getting disqualified, and this is the best of the Colleague car, still at 13th place finish, 4th in the standings. And on a sad note, Colleague Racing's string of top 10 finishes is dashed at 41, and that dated back to the season and opener at Daytona of 2020, where at least they had one driver in the top 10 for 41 consecutive weeks. Justin Haley, 14th place finish, ending his string of top 10 finishes. Remains 6th in the points, but will likely fall further down the standings as he will not be in action at Dover this weekend on the COVID protocol. So you have Zane Smith making his Xfinity Series debut, driving for Colleague Racing. And on the Cup side, Josh Berry will be in the Spire 77. So Josh Berry will finally get to run in the Cup Series, so that's going to be pretty cool to see. And the Jeb Burton Talladega winner finishes 20th, remains 5th in the points. And Tommy Joe Martin's 15th place finish This is his sixth top 20 finish of 2021. And the cool paint scheme that stood out to me the most at this nostalgic weekend was the 10-10-3-4-5 scheme, the purple car that Tyler Jet Motorsports ran with Rich Bickle and David Green nearly 20 plus years ago. And Austin Cindric leads 34 laps but gets involved in a crash in the final lap and is relegated to a 30th place finish, his worst of 2021. And he's still your points leader. Ty Gibbs, 18th place finish. Ran a really nice scheme, too. A nice, sweet Interstate Batteries paint scheme. A throwback to the glory days of JGR. Their inception, really, when Bobby Labonte and Dale Jarrett ran those famous Interstate Battery colors. The nice green, lime green. Worst finish in his 4 career starts in the Xfinity Series. Not in the top 10 here, or top 5, but had a really good run going. And JR Motorsports said they had planned to appeal the decision to fight hard for the 9 car to overturn that disqualification that initially Noah Gragson, piece of shit Gragson, as Amanda knows like to call him, wins his 3rd Dash for Cash. It stands. They lose, they win their appeal, and this team, I thought, I don't know, man. Gragson is an interesting cat, but his 3 top 5s for him in 2021, 4 top 10 finish. And on the other side of that, though, it's a tale of 2 seasons for him. He has 5 finishes of 4 finishes now of 28th or worst. So Gregson's an interesting guy. If he doesn't win soon, I think JGR, I'm not just saying it because I don't like him, but JGR has to really think what they want to do with him, because he wins 2 races last year, but just looks fairly inconsistent here. He's looked better recently. But I don't know. He's got 3 Dash for Cash wins. That seems to be the highlight of his season, but you don't want that. You want to start rolling off those wins. You want to start doing what your teammate did, Josh Berry or Justin Allgaier. He's definitely, other than Michael Annett here, the weakest link of the team. And if you know from the old game show, The Weakest Link, what did he do? To the people that are weakest link, you bid them adieu. Goodbye. Apparently at one point, he when this was the DQ stood, he violated, I'll read what he did. He was the realignment of any suspension or the drivetrain component beyond normal rotational suspension, and or would alter the drivetrain, would force you to get disqualified here. I think it's part of the Extended Series rule book, section 20.220, rule 20, section 14. In the Xfinity rule book, and the 9 car would have been relegated to a 40th place finish had that stood. But I mean, if the things don't go well here for Gragson, this 9 car is a championship team. This is a car that won championships with Chase Elliott, had good runs with William Byron in it, won the championship. Noah Gragson, I don't know. He's at this point, had that stood, he would have been 16 points back of the cut line. So there's a little bit of cause for concern if you're JR Motorsports, what to do with Noah Gragson, because I think this is a wolf, and this is a sheep in wolf's clothing. I think he's not the real deal, and I'm not just saying that because I dislike him. I just think this is a guy that maybe reached his potential in the truck series with Kyle Busch Motorsports. Wasn't very popular there. That's why he was bounced, and JGR just washed his hands of him. Junior Motorsports could consider doing the same. In Xfinity news, Cole Custer will run the Xfinity race at the Circuit of Americas next weekend at Austin, Texas. He will run for Rick Rare Racing. Custer made his Cup debut with Rick Rare Racing in 2018 at Las Vegas in preparation for a move to the Cup Series with Stewart-Haas Racing, which he did in 2020. Not a lot of experience on the road course for Cole, so I think this is why he's coming here to log some laps, kind of have a feel for next Sunday, because he's not, as I said, not really good on the road courses, so this is an opportunity for him to log some laps. Wouldn't be too shocked if other drivers follow suit, if you hear some announcement this week that some of the Cup drivers would like to have a run at this. That's similar to what they did with the trucks and the Xfinity when they were preparing for the Bristol Dirt Race, which sort of the Xfinity Series didn't run, but you get it, they would have run that. So Custer has not run the series since 2019. But in 104 career starts in the Xfinity Series, he has 9 wins, 39 top 5, 71 top 10s. He was a junior motorsports driver. Let's see what I mean. Junior motorsport drivers are fairly successful. Noah Gragosn, not so much. He was a runner-up in the points in 18 and 19. And J.J. Yeley will also run 2 races for our motorsports. He will drive the 23 car. He's going to be the 4th driver to run the 23 car in 2021. Brian Perkins, Tyler Reddick, and Natalie Decker have also had their opportunity to run this car this season. JJ will drive at Dover and the Roval at Charlotte in October, and Yeley has made 339 starts from 2014 to this year in Xfinity Series racing. His 4 starts this season with Rick Rare Racing, and his best finish is a second 2 times in 2005 at Memphis, 2006 at Kentucky, and both were when he was driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. His last top 5 was 4th at Talladega in the spring of 2015, and his last top 10 finish in Xfinity was 6th at Iowa in 2017, so not too terribly long ago. And now we move to the Truck Series. Defending series champion Sheldon Creed wins for the first time in 2021, a 6th career win, 38th win for GMS Racing, and Creed sits 3rd in the points. First top 5 since Atlanta. And he was running a Jim Smith paint scheme made famous by Mike Wallace back in the Truck Series days, and Jason Leffler, when Jason Leffler drove the 1 year there and did a really good job in that truck. So it's sad to see that he's no longer with us, but a lot of good memories about Jason Leffler, and his anniversary of his death is coming up next month. But really talented driver that just for whatever reason didn't make a lot of waves in Cup Series, but a very solid race car driver, and I really miss seeing him on the track. Ben Rhodes, 2nd place finish here. Strong season continues, remains 2nd in the points. 4 top 5 finishes. And this is, in those top 5, he's either won the race or he's been the runner-up. And 4th consecutive week, he is in the top 10. And Carson Hocevar, 3rd place finish, the best career finish in 17 starts for the 18-year-old rookie driver, 2nd top 5 of 2021. He was 5th at Daytona. He is leading the rookie standings over crowd-favored Hailie Deegan. But Carson Hocevar, round of applause, great finish for him. Bright future ahead for this guy. Matt Crafton, 4th place finish, 2nd top 5 of 2021. And the first since Las Vegas in March, where he's 5th in the points currently, and Grant Enfinger finishes 5th, his first top 5 of 2021, 3 top 10 finishes in the last 4 races, and Johnny Sauter, 6th place finish, 3rd consecutive top 10 finish, and get a little bit worried about Johnny Sauter. This is a guy that I think I made a case for a couple of weeks back, maybe on our podcast, about could he be a Hall of Fame driver? He's Hall of Fame credentials for what he done here in the Truck Series, becoming a champion. I think he's the, other than Kyle Busch, but he's the best driver and the active drivers in all-time on the all-time wins list. I believe he sits 5th at this juncture, and looks really good, but hasn't won in almost 2 years. It's a bit alarming for him. And Timmy Hill, the next Jeff Gordon. Did you get a chance to see the shot Fox did to into the crowd there? And someone had a T-shirt, homemade T-shirt, plain white T-shirt. It says Timmy Hill, the next Jeff Gordon. Timmy Hill's got a long legions of fans. The legend of him continues to grow. Right, 7th place finish, and in 7th place for him. Good finish for him. His 4th start of 2021. I think that's 2 top 10s for him in this season. Let's see, this is a driver that you often see him in Cup for, I can't remember the team. He's bounced around. He's raced with everybody. I can't remember the team off the top of my head here, but Timmy Hill has shown a lot of promise in the Xfinity Series and in the trucks. It's just a bit alarming why someone as popular as he becomes, somewhat of the same vein as Matt DiBenedetto in the Cup Series, this popular underdog driver, why someone would give him an opportunity to run trucks full-time and have a chance at the championship. He's not terribly too old, he's in his late 20s. He's been around forever. Give him an opportunity to run and work his way up to a cup run. And he ran the iRacing for Penske Racing a few weeks back. So is there a big opportunity in his future? Who knows? But John Hunter Nemechek, the points leader, remains the points leader. 8th place finish here. 7th top 10 of 2021. Led 65 laps, and KBM's winning streak is halted at 5 races. And really the story of this track was that huge wreck on the front stretch. Big wreck. Took out most of the field. John Hunter Nemechek was caught up in that, but still manages an 8th place finish. That is the mark of a true champion. He is going to become the Truck Series champion at the end of the year. I can see it now. Greg Biffle and Truck News never really officially retired. He just kind of stopped racing. Never had a goodbye tour, going away tour. Wasn't given a proper send-off. He just stopped racing following his the final Cup start of 2016 at Homestead. And the 16 car, I think that team got absorbed by the end of the year. Biffle, 51, said that he is not ruling out returning to the Truck Series again at some point this season if he gets a call. At one point, I think Kyle Busch spoke to him about running full-time for KBM in the trucks, but he sort of politely declined the invitation, said he's not interested in running full-time, wants a one-off. His last win in the Truck Series was at Texas in 2019. He ran a one-off for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and in 83 truck races, he's got 17 career wins, 43 top 5s, 55 top 10s. He is the 2000 champion, and raced for GMS at Darlington 1 year ago. But Biffle stated if he does make a return and a one-off, he would be for Kyle Busch Motorsports, as he has enjoyed a lot of success with them in his one start, and is still a very good driver. I think not interested in running full-time anymore, but it's Biffle is one of those drivers that before Austin Dillon was the only driver who could have been eligible to be a Triple Crown winner in NASCAR, truck champion, Xfinity champion. Nearly did that in 2005, finished second in the standings, very close to becoming NASCAR's first and only Triple Crown winner. Austin Dillon still has a chance at it, so we'll see. Who else would be? Too bad Christopher Bell wouldn't be, or William Byron. They're missing the one championship. Byron missing the trucks, and Bell missing the Xfinity to make that a possibility for them. But Greg Biffle, who knows? We may see him in a truck by the end of 2021. So on to Dover this weekend, the Monster Mile, slick racetrack in Delaware. A lot of history there, too. Ran 3 races here last year, so this is now back to 2 races. Critical race in the playoff picture, so I think, again, much like a lot of the tracks we are going to in the next couple of weeks, that these are going to be tracks that are going to be on the circuit in the fall, in the playoff race. So we could get some good notes here, good feel for how things will be once they return there in a few more months. And Kevin Harvick has won at Dover 3 times last fall, and all with Stuart Haas Racing in the fall of 2015, the spring of 2018. Seems due for a win, as we talk about each and every week. Fresh off some really strong runs in 2021. 2 top 5s in the last 3 races. If there's a place that Harvick's going to get that albatross off his neck of being a winless driver in 2021, it could be here. And 3 top 5 finishes in the last 6 Dover races. So this place, 5 top 5 finishes in the last 6 races at Dover. So he is automatic here. And he's going to have to contend with last week's race winner, Martin Truex Jr., 3-time Dover winner. First career win was back in June of 2007 with DEI, fall of 2016, and the spring of 2019. No finish worse than second in the last 4 Dover races, and 3 wins this season. Fresh off the momentum at Darlington. 8 top 5s in the last 9 races at Dover, so he is the driver to beat here. But another driver to not sleep on is Kyle Larson. He won Dover in the fall of 2019. Great start with Hendrick. He's got 1 win. Should be up to at least 4 wins from what I count. 9 top 10 finishes in the last 12 starts at Dover. 6 top 5 finishes, and 5 top 5s in the last 8 Dover races. So this is another place that Kyle Larson likes to race. He likes the high line, as you know, and that's going to be very tough to contend with if you're a driver who likes to run the low line. That Larson finds a way, slaps the wall just ever so lightly, keeps the car up high, and is going to be a driver to contend with on Sunday. Alex Bowman, 3 top 5 finishes in the last 4 races at Dover. That's good enough to keep him on the radar. His best finish was second in the spring of 2019. Bowman is a fairly inconsistent driver, but it feels like he's inching ever so close to becoming a breakout star, and Hendrick has had a lot of success with the 48 team. Back to Jimmy Johnson, record setter at Dover. I think he is up to 8 wins before he called it a career at the Monster Mile. And Chase Elliott, another driver desperately in need of a win. Won here in the fall of 2018. 4 top 5s in the last 4 Dover races, and 3 top 5 finishes in the last 5 races. Desperate need of a win. Got to piece that momentum together going into the final months of the season, so he has an opportunity to become a 2-time and defending Cup Series champion. And a lot of history with his father, Bill Elliott, at Dover. One of his favorite tracks when he was an active driver on the roster in the NASCAR Cup Series. So that is going to be the checkered flag for this episode of Watching, Winning, and Wrecking. I'm glad you took some time out of your day to listen to this podcast and continue to listen to this podcast as it continues to grow in popularity. I know I'm going to do a better job of promoting this in the next coming weeks, next coming months, as weeks that I'm very pleased with how well this podcast has done. I know there's a limited audience out there. We haven't reached a global level of popularity yet, but maybe that will come in time. Who knows? I enjoy doing this each and every week. It allows me to it's allowed me to renew my love for NASCAR and to be more invested in this, and it's become appointment television for Amanda and myself each and every Sunday and Saturday with Xfinity and Cup Series and TSN Sportsnet. If you're listening, which you're probably not, but if someone gets wind of this, force them to try to put the truck series in Canada, man. I want to see some of those truck races. I just see highlights on YouTube to prepare for this podcast each and every week when the trucks are running, and some good racing in truck series. You know, John Hunter Nemechek, some good talent out there. Haley Deegan, Carson Hocevar, Matt Crafton, the veterans, Johnny Sada, they're still pretty good out there. Sheldon Creed, Zane Smith. There's a good group of young drivers. Stuart Friesen. And that's what the irony of this. There's 2 Canadians at one point that were, when Raphael Lessard was running this full time, and Stuart Friesen. And come on, put them on television. They're Canadians. You know, you have to, the CRTC relegates what is streamed across the airways in Canada. There's a certain amount of Canadian content you have to play on the radio or show on television. A certain amount of Canadian born actors or actresses have to meet that criteria for them to put the show on television. So one driver in the truck series. So come on, TSN. Come on, Sportsnet. I'd like to see you air those races. So much to ask. Well, they might air Bowmanville. They were airing Bowmanville a couple of years ago at the Canadian Tire Raceway. Still like to get out there to see a race one day. I know it was year after year I would go to the race in Montreal when the Xfinity Series was there, and it's a nice, entertaining afternoon, and it's good to see some live NASCAR action, and maybe I might make that trip out to Bowmanville. Who knows, maybe next year. So other than that, I had a really busy week, and that's why this podcast is late. It won't happen next week, and for that, I'll make good on that. We'll have the regular streaming time will happen next week, and it will be posted next week at its regular time, Wednesday or Thursday. It's when we've been posting. So I hope everyone has a nice weekend, enjoys the brighter temperatures. It's getting brighter out. It gets dark around 8:30 now, Eastern Standard Time, and it's a good race at Dover. Maybe one of your favorite drivers win. Maybe one of the winless drivers will win. Maybe Elliott, Harvick, Denny Hamlin. Maybe he'll be an upset driver. Maybe, who knows, Chase Briscoe may win. Or we might see some strategy on fuel mileage. You just never know. First Cup start for Justin Haley is Josh Berry and Zane Smith. Their first start in the Xfinity Series, so it'll be fun to watch. It's always fun to watch anyone make their Cup debut at Dover. The most significant one I can remember back it wasn't a debut, but Buckshot Jones finishing in the 8th place finish in 1998, the spring race. for the Stavola brothers, and Matt Kenseth would also do the same in the fall. His first Cup start was actually at Dover when he was filling in for Bill Elliott in '98 as well, when his father passed away, and he had a really good run. He finished sixth place that day, and was a really cool Big Mac paint scheme. So that would have been one that I think McDonald's should consider bringing back for throwback weekend next year at Darlington. We'll see Ross Chastain around the paint scheme Matt Kenseth ran for Billy Elliott Racing back in 1998. But again, just want to wish everyone a really good week, and we'll see you next time when we come back with Watching, Winning, and Wrecking. I am Christopher, and I will see ya.